Right, hello everyone. Today we'll be talking about patch notes. So for patch notes wise, all of the emails for inquiries will be split into all of these things over here. So just read it yourself. I'm not too interested in this. And we also have a bunch of content updates, which is the Section 3 Sinclair and Asymmetrical Inertia Heathcliff. We also got Target Extraction Otis. And if you notice, it is following the rule of the new rule that P-Moon has made, where the target extraction will now allow you to get the previous season's characters. So you can see Dimension Shredder Otis, that one was an event ego. So now you can get it from target extraction. Holiday Otis, the exact same. And then you can look at all of these other things. It's all of the other IDs and egos that were unobtainable because it is the last season. They are obtainable now, like Wuthering Heights, Otis, and so on and so forth. So yeah, if you really want to go and try and snipe all of these past characters, you can try and dump some money over here, but I would not recommend that. Okay, so that is all of the small stuff. Let's talk about the actual big one, which is Mirror Dungeon. So Mirror Dungeon is going to follow what he said in the big P-Moon stream a few days ago, right? So to unlock this Mirror Dungeon, you need to clear main story 2-19, and we will be only getting a major update for the normal mode. The hard mode will not get anything over here. So now I'm going to mention something really important for all of the new players who don't know this, and for the existing players who've forgotten about this. But whenever a new Mirror Dungeon comes, it means you get to double dip. What that means is that Mirror Dungeon will hit first. So what that means is that when the patch is about to hit, Mirror Dungeon will reset on that date. So in our case here, this update is coming on the 28th. So that is when our Mirror Dungeon will reset. That means that you actually can go into Mirror Dungeon, you can claim all of the bonuses from that week, and then when this Mirror Dungeon comes in, you get all 3 of your weekly bonuses totally refreshed because this is a brand new Mirror Dungeon. So P-Moon will write this over here. Rewards for Mirror Dungeon runs that remain incomplete before November 28th 10 will become inaccessible. So please claim your rewards before scheduled maintenance begins. This is a warning to you. You must log in before this timing over here. This is KST timing. Then you finish your Mirror Dungeon run, and then you claim it, and then when the reset happens, you get another 3 stacks of the weekly bonus. So you can double dip into this Mirror Dungeon. So this is every time a Mirror Dungeon happens, and if you're new, you probably don't know this. Okay, so just take note of this timing over here, and there is one trick you can do if you don't want to wake up at that timing and then just go and do one whole hard run. You can do the hard run first, and then you go to floor 5, you're about to finish it, you don't finish it. After that, you go and you claim the reward right before this timing, and then after that you go back to sleep. So there you go. You can save a lot of time just by doing the run beforehand, saving your progress near the end, and then after that you log on before this timing, you claim it, and then you leave. Right. So that is the way that you can get all of these things over here. Just remember this thing if anything else, because this actually lets you double dip. Weekly bonus gives you additional Battle Pass EXP. Very important to note for everyone. Okay, so let's talk about Mirror Dungeon changes now. So there's going to be a shit ton of changes as said in the big patch talk that P-Moon had a few days ago. So instead of this order now, the current Mirror Dungeon, right, we go in, we engrave the stars on the starter bars prior to entry, select a difficulty, blah blah blah, ego gears, team loadout. They changed the order. So now you select your team first. You select the buffs that you want before you go in, select your starting ego gifts so you still have those, and then you select the difficulty and team pack to start your run with. And only normal difficulty will be available, and when hard mode comes, you get to toggle normal or hard mode inside of the Mirror Dungeon when you're selecting your team packs in this 4th point over here. Right? All combat encounters are now chain battles, so allies will absolutely be dying here if you're not spamming a healing ego. But it is fine, because upon clearing a floor, all identities will be revived if defeated and fully healed. SP does get reset to 0 though, so ideally you don't want them to actually die. But if they do die, then so be it, they will just revive, so you will not be punished too much. Most combat encounters will now have enemy backups, so you have to fight wave after wave after wave of Blood Fiends again, but there will be less stages to clear. Right. And the final floor of normal difficulty and will be moved from floor 4 to floor 5, and enemy HP in the normal difficulty has been adjusted to accommodate this change. So this does mean that the dungeon is longer because of raw floors, but there are less nodes to go through, and enemy HP is apparently easier in the normal dungeon. So This is supposed to make it so that the speed of clearing 4 floors right now is the exact same as the speed of clearing 5 floors in this new mirror dungeon. So we will just have to see whether this is actually true, and then we'll see whether they go and change it back. Because most likely what happens is that if they mess up the numbers a little bit and it is actually way longer, then we will have to go ahead and complain, and then after that it will just go back to normal. Because P-Moon has mentioned before, they don't want to make it harder to grind the normal mode, because if they make it harder, then people will be slower to grind their battle pass. There's a lot of veterans who will talk about this stuff lah, but I'm not really too peeved about this. I just wish that I could go longer in my hard mode dungeon and still get battle pass EXP. That's actually the one I want, but that is really far into the future. Anyway, creating your team, you can go normal difficulty, your IDs are fixed to level 50, and your current IDs and blah 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 blah. Whatever, you already know this one if you have played previous mirror dungeons. Rest bonus is majorly changed. Instead of Starlight, because Starlight is totally deleted from now on, what happens is that your rest bonus will now be consumed to select a buff. And this buff is like this. You can sacrifice 10 of your rest bonus to pick up a +1 reroll, +1 additional team pack option maybe, and this is going to be a +1 ego, but there's a special like icon here, so maybe this is the new ego, the for sale and for fusion only ego or something like that. So you go in, you pick a team that you've never picked in a long time, and you get a bunch of rest bonus points here, and you consume that in order to claim all of these buffs over here in the Grace of the Dreaming Star. That is the only purpose for rest bonus now. It's not required for Starlight farming or anything like that. Starting cost bonus is also deleted. Your starting cost bonus is now scaled off of your rest bonus. With the elimination of Starlight, the team loadout menu will no longer display Starlight anymore. Yes, Starlight is totally deleted. And all identities after this update will get maximum rest bonus. So you can just go in and pick your favorite team and just run it down for now. Alright, and then the rest bonus tally will appear over here, as you can see over here. Yep. Alright, so this is just so you get all of your starter ego gifts immediately. You can still pick them after you go through this menu here. It's just that they do want to make the Starlight thing into an actual relevant mechanic for future mirror dungeons, so they did it in this way, which I think is quite cool. Whether it's actually useful or very interesting is going to be a different thing though. We'll just wait and see how it actually works. Okay, so only one Grace of Stars can be selected. Any remaining rest bonus converts to cost, like I said before. Players can gain Grace of Stars based on team loadout rest bonus regardless of whether they spent their rest bonus or not. And the starting ego gifts will be exactly the same. You get all of them immediately. All 7 keyword categories will be unlocked from the start. But they did remove Slash, Pierce, and Blunt ego gift categories. I don't really understand why, but okay, they removed those. Fine, whatever. With the retirement of Starlight, you cannot gain Starlight, no more notifications for Starlight, and you can also select this. If you notice up here, you can see the normal mode. When the hard mode comes, you can click this button here and you convert it into the hard mode, and then you are stuck in hard mode. You cannot actually go back anymore. And you can see you actually have 3 refreshes here. I think that is because he picked the +1 reroll or something like that. I'm not too sure. But yeah, you get a bunch of rerolls over here for the team packs. Alright. So retirement of blah blah blah, choice event, ego gifts, and bosses for each team pack will be adjusted to fit the teams of each pack better. So I don't know what this means, they did not put any details, but we might see some changes for some of these packs in the future. So look forward to it. Abnormality battle encounters will be added to the game. Bosses appearing in abnormal fights will have the same stats as the one you can choose to fight via abnormality choices. So in choices, you can select to fight a boss. Those bosses' stats will be the exact same if you go into any abnormality regular battles pretty much. And just like those bosses, you obtain 2 ego gifts as per usual, but in hard mode you get 2 vision instead of 1 vision, and in normal mode you get full vision, so you can still totally avoid them if you want. Ego gift rewards from abnormal fights are still fixed, and there are no additional ego rewards or cards upon victory. So this one is up to you whether you prioritize getting those as fodders or fusions or whatever the case is. Okay, then for shops, this is the new shop. The new shop is basically combined with the rest stop, so you rest at the same place where you buy your objects. In the hard mode, there will be a super shop, but for now, we get the regular one. There's some cool stuff to talk about for this. Basically, every single floor, immediately preceding the floor boss, this shop will appear. And the revive sinner option has been added, so you can totally revive your sinners now. And there is no longer any Starlight refresh option, so it's not that easy to reroll for a specific ego anymore. But the ego gift fusion calculation system has also been changed, and you can fuse your tier 4s now, which I think is quite good, because I really don't like getting those tier 4 fragments that buff egos. I actually prefer to get Eclipse of Flame, for example. If I were to get the burn version of the ego thing, I would totally be willing to just fuse that shit away so I can get my Glimpse of Flame, because Glimpse of Flame is the core ego gift for burn teams when they are speedrunning. So in the normal mode, you can only still fuse up to 3, but in the hard mode, you can totally fuse up to 5 ego gifts. And this point-based tallying system that allows tier 4s to be ingredients will be changed for the hard mode. So in hard mode, when you go to the store, you can totally fuse all of these ego gifts, and you can fuse them with like 5 other ego gifts. As for how it will actually work, we have to wait until the actual patch, then we can see how it actually works. Encounter reward cards. Each encounter has a certain chance to provide you with a selection of blah blah blah. It's the exact same as before, doesn't really matter. Encounter reward cards, however, giving additional starlight gets removed, so totally gone. Select ego gifts and mounting trials upon completion. In the hard mode, you select 2 of these things, but you also take 2 of the mounting trials. In the normal mode, it's the exact same as the current mirror dungeon. Okay, and then they are changing some mounting trials for some reason, and you can now gain duplicates. This one we already know. And the ego duplicates will be fusion and sale only ego gifts. However, duplicates will not appear from shop ego gifts or fusion ego gifts. It is possible, however, to gain ego gift in the shop catalog through fusion. So you can get duplicates of egos through fusion. So I think that's kind of ass, but I mean, whatever the case is an interesting mechanic, I guess. Like if I fuse, I get a tier 3, but it's the same tier 3 that I already have. That feels quite shit. So I really don't know how they are actually going to balance this. Maybe they'll change it back if we don't like it too much, but I'll just wait and see before I talk about this one even more. And selecting an ego gift, any ego gifts that's currently in your possession will be marked with owned because of this new duplicate system. And they're adding 18 new ego gifts. 9 pre-existing ego gifts will be changed. So this one was what Kim Ji-hoon was talking about before. He wants to balance Bloody Mist and whatnot. So you see all of these are the combinations ones, like Lucky Pouch, Bloody Mist, Couple Oscillation, Black Sheep Music. All of these guys are getting adjusted or changed. So I don't know if it's all nerfs, all buffs, maybe a bit of nerfs, maybe a bit of buffs, I do not know. But the bright side for me is Glimpse of Flame is not here. Ho, Glimpse of Flame is still a winning ego. So that means my burn team will not be affected too much, except my Soothe the Dead might get nerfed or something along those lines. Not really an issue. Glimpse of Flame is all I need. Don't even need Soothe the Dead. So yeah, this is kind of bad for any bleed characters or any poise characters, but maybe it's a buff in some ways. But another interesting thing that they say here is that 7 of these ego gifts will get their recipes changed. So maybe they're going to make it easier to get these egos, but the value you get from them is a bit less or something like that. I do not know how they plan to balance this thing here, but I think some people might be mad when they see their Bloody Mist get nerfed. Because Bloody Mist is really one of the easiest things to go and build for in Mirror Dungeon, and it makes the runs very comfortable for new players. Okay, 6 pre-existing choice events will have their content adjusted or added, and new choice events will be added with hard difficulty. And with the major change for the last part, after exploration is complete, you do not see your starlight gain anymore, obviously. You can view the list of your mounting trials now, and you can also see the sum of enemy levels gained from the exploration complete window. So you can see all of the mounting trials, what was the enemy's levels at the end, blah blah blah. When claiming your rewards, you will receive your rewards based on Mirror Dungeon progress and difficulty of each floor, exactly the same as the current one. So yeah, this is a bit of the current Mirror Dungeon, but combined with a lot of reworks, and there are also some ego gift reworks, which may or may not be popular with the community. So I don't know lah. I didn't see my Glimpse of Flame get changed, so that means my farming with the burn dungeon is going to still be quite okay. But since the dungeon right now is 5 floors of enemies with multiple enemies per node, I will have to just press win rate maybe 3 times per node or 2 times per node instead of 1 time per node. So I really don't know. I guess less clicks might equate to lower time in the mirror dungeon, so maybe that could be good. But the fact is, the speed of killing needs to be faster. I really don't know how they are planning to balance this so that it's actually the same speed as before, but well, whatever lah. We'll just wait and see. If people complain enough, they might change it back, they might minus it down to 4 floors. Who really knows at this point? But yeah, the fact that it's chain battles, the fact is that a lot of the chain battle good characters like the Deviats or Earl King or anyone that likes to kill people like multi-crack files, all of them would definitely enjoy this Mirror Dungeon update, because they will be able to scale super well and they can carry it over to a lot of the fights as well. Okay, so that's going to be it, I think, for this video here. That is most of the patch notes. Big Mirror Dungeon changes. some inquiry changes for this email stuff, and then we got the banner stuff here, which I will talk in a separate video because otherwise this will be a very, very long video. Okay, that's it guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Leave your comments for all of your comments and thoughts about all of this stuff. Alright, see you guys next time. Bye bye.